Hello and welcome to the Evercade Retreat. My name is GeneJoke and today I'm ranking the games from the Datat Arcade Collection Volume 1. This seems apt as Volume 2 is coming out in November, which isn't that far off, so let's see how this one stacks up. This was one of my very first Evercade carts as it came with my VS along with the Technos Arcade Collection. At the same time I also picked up the Bitmap Brothers Collection, which I've also done a review of. So expect a Technos Arcade Collection review fairly soon. My least favourite of the collection is Lock and Chase. It's probably not the worst game or the most flawed game as a whole, I just do not find it very engaging. It's essentially a Pac-Man clone with a bit of a variation on it. I've just never been able to get into it. Played it, I've gotten used to the mechanics, and I still don't really enjoy it. It just doesn't do it for me, hence bottom of the pile. I should also mention I had zero nostalgia for Lock and Chase. It's the first time I played it on the Evercade. The same with this next game, Darwin 4078, which I suspect might be bottom par for many people, but it does have its fans, of that I'm aware. It's a vertically scrolling shoot 'em up with a really cool ship evolution mechanic. The downside is your ship can get rather large and make it very easy to get killed, and many of the bullets can blend into the scenery. But music, the beginning of it is very irritating, or it certainly is when you keep dying and hearing the same bit over and over. But if you can get good at it, there isn't a terrible shoot up here. It gets quite enjoyable in places, but it just becomes frustrating, and I'd say it irritated me more than I enjoyed it, which is a shame because I think really it could have been a good game. Maybe perhaps once Blaze introduced dip switches for the Evercade, maybe if you can make the game easier, maybe I'll make it more enjoyable. As it is, I've played through it, I looped the game, and it took a ridiculous amount of continues and save states because those later levels get really difficult, especially if you lose your power-ups, and because of the size of the ship, losing those power-ups is going to happen. Another game I'd never played before getting an Evercade is Breakthrough. This side-scrolling, drive 'em, shoot 'em up, jump 'em up thing is, it's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's anything special. Graphics are pretty good for the time, the sound's alright, music, it's alright. Again, that's pretty much how I feel about this game. It's alright, I can have a bit of fun with it. I made a point of playing through it, but since then all I do is put in one credit, have a quick blast, and that'll be it. It's not one I come back to very often. Like I said, it's okay. Next up is Chain Reaction. I'm going to be keeping this one short. It's also possibly lower than it should be on the list in some respect. The problem is Magical Drop 2, which is a sequel to this game, is on Datat Collection 1. Being a sequel and a console version, I think that's the superior version. So this is low because I barely ever played this version. I'd much rather play Magical Drop 2, but it is a good puzzle game. Next up is Sci-Fi Secret Agent, which is quite clearly a James Bond game in all but name. It even features numerous enemies and bosses which are ripped right out of the James Bond movies. This is a game I had nostalgia for. I played it in the arcade and on the Amiga back in the day. Funny enough, when I played it in the arcade I couldn't get past the motorcycle section because I didn't realise you could duck. It just didn't. It's like, how do you duck a motorbike? Why would you? So I never tried and I kept taking hits that I could have easily avoided. So that bit of childhood stupidity aside, it's a good game. There's a nice variety of gameplay with different modes. You've got a parachute section, you've got a motorbike section, you've got diving sections, and then you're on foot jumping around shooting the enemies. It's a good fun game. Not perfect, but you can have fun with it, although you might not play through it more than once or twice, apart from maybe just to come back to have a bit of a blast. And next up we have Burger Time, which, as I mentioned in the console collection ranking, the console version isn't a patch on this arcade original. It's good, simple fun, straightforward arcade action. It's a score chaser, plain and simple. I said I'll have a lot of fun with this. Initially when I first played it I bounced off it. I just thought, nah, this is just basic stuff, I have no interest in this. And then when my youngest son was playing on it and he got a pretty good score, got on the high score table, and he challenged me to beat him. So of course I had to make the effort to try and beat him, and I got quite hooked on it, and since then I've been a big fan of Burger Time. It goes to show that these old arcade games can still hold up well with their simple but fun gameplay. Bad Dudes vs Dragon Ninja is another one that's superior to the version we had on the console collection. You know, this is the arcade original naturally, and the ports at the time couldn't really compete. I mean, the Amiga version wasn't too bad for an Amiga port, which, you know, had less controls and what have you, but it looked almost as good. But this original version is just good, cheesy fun as you smack down the enemies, gut punch Karnov, smack down ninjas and what have you. As usual with these games, there is a boss rush at the end, which is not usually my favourite thing, but hey, you know, it fits, I suppose. And they've been recoloured. Bonus. Tumble Pop is another game I've got a lot of nostalgia for. They had it in my local Sega World, and the thing is, mostly they had the big arcade games there. You know, you'd have your X-Men Children of the Atom, your various Street Fighters, Mortal Kombat, your various racing games, your Daytonas and what have you, or your G-Lock, you know, the whole full spinning machine thing, which is all pretty cool. But most of those would have queues on to play them. So sometimes I think, well, let's see what else I can play, and Tumble Pop was one of those. And it became my between bigger, more exciting game to play. I could just go and have a quick bash in it, have some fun with it, and always quite enjoyed it, found it quite charming. Playing on Evercade, I've rediscovered it, and actually my appreciation for it has grown. You know, it's a really good fun, you know, single screen platform arcade. You know, what more can you ask for? I can get a fair way through it on one credit. Well, I can do most of it on one credit now, but not quite. Maybe one day I'll 1cc it. And finally, my favourite games on the collection, this is a twofer, are Gates of Doom and Wizard Fire, also known as the Dark Seal games. I never played these back in the day, but I had heard of them, and I remember reading about them in a magazine, seeing screenshots, and thought, I want to play them. Never got the chance, sadly, at least until getting an Evercade. And yeah, they didn't disappoint. They're exactly what I expected, a sort of gauntlet-esque fantasy D&D style, you know, hack and slash. I have great fun with both of them. The graphics, especially on Wizard Fire, I think are really nice. They capture the D&D style fantasy world well, but in a sort of anime Saturday morning cartoon kind of way. Very bright and vibrant. The sound is good. The music is suitably fantasy epic stuff. Yeah, I have a lot of fun with this. I mean, some people might disagree on this one, but yeah, they speak to me. I was always into this sort of thing. I was a D&D player back in the day, and I still am, to be fair. So yeah, I really enjoy these games. So yeah, they're top of the pile for me. I think I slightly prefer Wizard Fire. It's just got those slight improvements and, you know, slightly nicer graphics. I really like the weirdness of them as well. Some of the spells you get, you know, getting turned into a pig or becoming some kind of like killer unicorn. I think that's quite cool. So yeah, great games. Overall, I'd say it's a very good collection. It's one of the best arcade collections on Evercade, and I'd even go as far to say one of the best collections on Evercade as a whole. With 10 games and most of them being good or better, that's a pretty good hit rate. And again, you know, your preference and what you like may differ wildly from mine. And I think even the games that I've got at the bottom of the pile, I know they have their fans and some people appreciate them a lot more than I do. So I think it's safe to say this is a very strong cart and gets an 8.5 out of 10 for me.
In a world of chaos where monsters roam, two heroes rise with vacuums they own, sucking up the baddies, clearing the way. In the land of Tumble Pop they save the day. Tumble Pop, 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 you can't be stopped, stopped, stopped. With a zap and a pop, you clear the screen. Tumble Pop, 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 you can't be stopped, stopped, stopped. From the haunted house to the desert sands, they travel far with courage in their hands, jumping and dodging, never standing still. With every level, they show their skill. Tumble pop, 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 you can't be stopped, stopped, stopped. With a slap and a pop, you clear the screen. Tumble pop, 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 you can't be stopped, stopped, stopped. desert sands. They travel far with courage in their hands, jumping and dodging, never standing still. With every level, they show their skill. Tumble, pop, 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 you can't be stopped, stop, stop. With a zap and a pop, you clear the screen. Tumble, pop, 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 you can't be stopped, stop, stop.